Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed, Shlita. Hope everyone had a great Shabbos, a restful Shabbos, a great weekend. We begin a new week of learning, and we are about to finish this topic, and we have a short topic afterwards, which I'll get into in a second, but please continue davening for Chalei Tzva Ganei Yisrael, Refuah Shlema L'Chol Petzuei Yisrael, and a safe return of our hostages. Dedicating our learning Le'il Nishmat, Seren Daniel Shemen Rav Doron V'Shelia Shamikum Damo. So the last in Maariv is Dvarim Ha'asurim L'Fnei Tfilas Arvis, things that are prohibited to do before davening Maariv, and then we have a very short section, 3 short chapters on Kriya Shema Al Hamita, the nighttime Kriya Shema when going to bed. So I'll just kind of fold that into this limud of Maariv, and then we'll get ready for a new topic altogether, so I will actually leave it up to some of our listeners, all 3 of you. If you'd like to decide what you would like to study, please let me know, and we will take it under consideration. But until then, let us continue. Also, lahaskil le'echol chatzi shel lefnei tzei kochavim, va'afil arucha kal also lahaskil shami mashech besudasa ad yisa'ef yishan. One is prohibited from eating a half hour before tzeis, before nightfall, even a light meal, because we're worried that your meal will schlep on, and you're going to become tired, and you're going to fall asleep. And also you shouldn't drink alcoholic beverages. But you can have fruits and vegetables. Or even a small amount of bread or mazonos, cookies, cake, less than an egg size, one could eat. Let's say you started your meal before that half hour's time slot. Once you began eating in a permissible time, you're allowed to continue. But it should be on condition that a person certainly has enough time that he'll be able to say Shema and daven after the meal. And if a person started to eat in a time that he shouldn't have eaten, you should stop your meal so you could say Shema, which is a D'oraisa. But the brachas of Kriya Shema and Shmona Esrei, which are only midrabanan, that you could wait until after the meal. Let's say it's already after nightfall, but you enlisted someone to remind you to say Shema and to daven after Maariv, then the person is allowed to eat at that time. But let's say both of them have to eat, and both didn't daven Maariv, so in a time of need, they can make an agreement between that they'll remind one another to daven Maariv. And this way, there'll be no worry that they're going to forget to daven Maariv. Let's say someone also has a set time for davening Maariv, a regular minyan, and he knows that that's part of his routine, is going to this minyan. Because there's a 9 o'clock minyan, there's a 7 o'clock minyan, whatever it might be, and that's what reminds you to daven. Then in case of need, he can also eat before Maariv. In many yeshivas, when it's the summer months and Maariv is late, so they'll daven late and they'll eat dinner. They'll have the evening meal at least within half an hour of tzeis. And this is allowed because they're relying on the fact that the time is a set time for davening. And everybody reminds one another to daven after the meal. And even though, ideally, one should eat the meal after davening, because we want to preserve and sanctify the Siddurim, the order of study. We're not going to interfere with the regular order of things, and Maariv will stay where it is. Because we're worried that if we have the meal after Maariv, then the afternoon seder of learning will be too long, and the night seder will be too short, and it will cause bittul Torah. Ve'ein lo zman kavul l'tefillah. If a person has to eat before davening, and he doesn't have a set time for davening, ve'ein mi sheyaskal achar kach l'kro shema v'lispalel, and he also doesn't have anyone to remind him that he should say Shema and daven, yachol lasos la'atzmo siman sheyaskal lo l'hispalel. He can make some sort of sign as a reminder that he should daven, kagon shechavein she'on ma'orer she'tzaltel achar kach, setting an alarm clock. Nowadays, we would use a smartphone. Or you can phone a friend, or have a friend phone you to call you to remind you. And as soon as he calls, you'll say Shema and you'll daven. Or if some people, he says, if you need, you can b'di'evet to tie something on your clothing, like used to tie a string around your finger to remind you of something, but if you tied something on your clothing so that when you're getting ready for bed, you realize, I still have this, I have to daven Maariv. And just like we can't eat at this period before Teisuk HaChavim, you can't go to sleep for the night either. If a person's going to go lie down, he's allowed to have a shomer or someone to remind him to wake him up to daven Maariv. Adam shemiskaven lehispal Maariv biyachid, a person who is intending to daven Maariv alone without a minyan, lo yaschel lilmad achar teisuk hachavim, he shouldn't start learning after nightfall. Ela kodem yispal v'achar kach yilmad. First, he should daven, and then he should engage in his studies. Aval lifnei teisuk hachavim yochel haskell lilmad afshu miskaven lahamshich lilmad b'ritzifas at achar teisuk hachavim. But before Teisuk HaChavim, a person can certainly begin to learn, even though he's going to learn well after Teisuk HaChavim. And if your custom is to go to a late Maariv minyan in shul, you could certainly learn in your house after nightfall, because you know, I'm going to the 10 o'clock minyan, we're not worried about losing out on Maariv. Yesh Omrim, and the final paragraph here is, some say that everything that the Chazal prohibited before mincha, that, let's say, some sort of malacha that's going to drag on, is also prohibited before Maariv. Some say that no, this is only prohibited before mincha, because in the afternoon, a person will start working, and then he's going to get schlepped into his work, and he's going to forget to daven. But at night, we don't have these types of tasks that will keep us dragging through. But ideally, if, practically speaking, there is a fear, there is a chashash that a person is going to get involved in a task and it will cause him to forget Maariv, then he should be strict. The bottom line is that when it comes to davening Maariv, one should not engage in an activity that will put him in a situation where he could possibly forget to daven. So we have many backstops, so to say, an alarm, a friend, a reminder, a set time. The best answer always is if you have a set time to daven in minyan. Even though the minyan may change, let's say if you're davening with the Zman minyan, what we call at Shkia, but if you know that you have to go to shul and you have to daven with a minyan, then you know that you'll be covered for davening both mincha and Maariv. So this will conclude the Seder on Maariv, but we'll take 3 short sessions on Kriya Shema Lamita before we move on. But thank you so much for joining us again this week for learning. Please continue davening for Chali Tzvag and Yisrael. Full Shalom L'chol Petzui Yisrael. Safe return of our hostages, dedicating our learning to Nishmat, Sarah and Daniel Shemin, Rav Dom Vashela Yishem Damo. Have a great day. We'll see you here next time.